Hey guys, just going to do a little quick short update on the green dragon plecos that I got from Greg Sage a few weeks ago. Now that I've turned the camera on, they're all hiding, of course, but you have one coming around the edge of their Gen 2 Pleco cave there, and there are actually 6 of these guys in there. If you buy 4, I think, from him, you get a free one. And I had got 5, so of course I got the 6th one free. But they're growing pretty quick. Eager for them to get their finnage out and get some size on them. They've already made, hey Jeremy, already made big buddies with Tank Boss there. That's one of my male rhino plecos, and he gets along great with them. As I've said in previous streams, they eat right beside him. There's a little piece of algae wafer there that he's come over to help him with, and they share the same wafers. They get on his back. I mean, he's totally harmless with them. Let's see if I can locate any more. Got some of the rainbows also that are flashing colors. It's not early morning anymore, but they finished up with their feeding, so they're still fired up and excited color wise. So in today's water change day, so water's not as clear as it will be in a couple of hours. Back to, and there's actually some spawning right there. Right there. Cool. I haven't separated any of these out and collected any eggs. You can see lots of other rainbows are right there waiting to recycle those eggs and eat them, but haven't started to pull eggs or breed any of these rainbows, so I will at some point, but so I'm not worried about what they're doing now. The odds of eggs hatching and fry actually surviving in this tank are nil, so it's not a concern right now for them to interbreed and that kind of thing. However, definitely don't want to do that. That's a big no-no with rainbows, as you know. So, but however, when they spawn, they do seem to stay in their pairs. They don't seem to switch off with other rainbows. So that's helpful. That's nice. So we got a green dragon on top back there. Hey Dee, good to see you this morning. Trying to do a quick short video update on the great green dragons from Greg Sage, and they've gotten camera shy. There's one on top, there's one inside, and there's one under the bottom, and there are 3 more somewhere in here. They're pretty active. Here comes one in now. I dropped some wafers in there just before going live, and as you can see, here they are shy of the camera. That's strange. It's their buddy, so they're not afraid of anything, because they very quickly made friends with this guy. I also have a long fin bristlenose in this tank, and he gets bullied a little bit by the rhino. I mean, no physical contact, but just making him swim away and give up space and that kind of thing. I don't see him out right now, but he's a really pretty fish. Not as much finnage as the green dragons, but really pretty fish. Well, I'm sorry, I wanted to get a little bit more on the green dragons here and try to document their growth. I'm sure in 6 months they're gonna really be stunning. And I do want to breed those guys out and possibly pass some along later on. But of course these are unsexed juveniles, but surely there'll be a couple of pairs grow out in the 6. These rainbows eat anything, so they're down there trying to eat the algae pellet as well, so that's fine. Each side of this tank could still use some attention. I think I said that last video I made here. I'm not sure that's a green dragon right there. I do have a couple, or maybe 3 juvenile long-fin bristlenose plecos in here, and I think that may be one of them. That's definitely a green dragon up there, but he's making sure he stays in the shadows. And there again, we see one under the edge, right there by the mouth of the rhino pleco, and totally harmless. Never bothers them at all. I never grow tired of watching what I call the Plecos playing, but I'm sure that when they're doing their tails like that, they're signaling, but it's almost like catch me if you can, or this is my territory. Thanks, Dee. You can see the Lincoln logs there, as Rachel O'Leary calls them, from the big Pleco, so some vacuuming in order today as well. I guess they see a tail dancing on the top there, but they've gone inside to play. Got a guy coming up the side here. Getting photobombed here by the emerald rainbows. You can be looking at worse fish, huh? Or worse colors. The guy's beautiful there. And the blue fins on him. I always get distracted by the rainbows. Okay. Well, we did get a little footage of the dragons. Still some more spawning going on here. Oops. And those are all 3 different types, so. But of course those eggs will never make it to hatching, and they do this every day, all day long. Hey Angelo, thanks. It's a dirty tank, but it's going to get some attention right after this video. So I'm doing water changes every 3 days, like 40, 50, 60% on all of my tanks, and that seems to be a real good balance. I like to feed a variety, and I tend to overfeed a little bit. Hey Pro Tim, nice to see you. But that's my choice, and you see the fish are plump and healthy and colorful, so I don't mind doing the water changes. I do have to use a python, but I've got that new fish guard, fry guard that I put on the end, so I don't have to stay with any given tank while it's being emptied, and I can be refilling another tank with another hose, so it really cut my time in half on my water changes. BAM Aquatics, we had talked about that, and I sent him the link to that, and he did a video about it a couple of days ago. If you're interested in seeing what that is, it's just a screen that goes right over your python, the end of the hose, and fry and any fish it keeps from going in there, and you don't have to stand right there and hold your tube and guard fish from getting sucked up in it. And it also breaks the flow. If you like to fill the tank quickly, it breaks that flow of the water coming back in. So it's a neat little tool for a couple of bucks. So even the cardinal tetras are interested in that spawning there. So yeah, get these guys isolated and get some mops, and I definitely don't need any rainbows, but it would be nice to... Hey JH, nice to see you in here. Thanks for stopping in. Started out here to look at green dragon fry from Greg Sage. I've had a couple weeks and always get distracted by the rainbows. And the green dragons have finished their pellets and moved on anyway. So see, there's one coming out of the tunnel, or the Pleco hide. Yeah, I definitely got to use that magnet magic brush on the front of this tank today. I haven't done any filming at all so far of the goldie-eyed acais that I got from Lucas. You've probably all heard that story due to the shipping perils of shipping fish that big and then biting through the breather bags. We eventually came back, and I ended up getting smaller fish, for more of them, for less price for fish. I think they were 60 each for the adults, and then Lucas offered me fry or juveniles for 40 each, but I ended up getting the same price, about $400 worth of fish, and 10 fish instead of 6. And they're small, they're pretty small, but they're good eaters and they'll grow out quickly. So I'm going to pan around here, hope you don't get whiplash, and just see if we can see some of those guys in here. Yeah, there's one swimming over to the left there. They hang out a lot with Siamese algae eaters, and they've just had good feeding of Daphne. There are 11 of them in there. He sent me an extra as well. But yeah, they like to hang out here under this. There's a 55, a 50, Aqua Clear 50 hanging on the back, right back there. And it gets a good intake right there, as well as a wave maker here and a couple of air stones. And sorry about that, kind of standing on my head here, but they like to play with the Siamese algae eaters. So the little fish that you see, lots of air, right, lots of current. Little fish that you see up top that are dashing around, there's one of the ones that's a little bigger, are the goldie-eyed acais. So lots of growing out to do, and lots of, see, I've got them plump. I'm feeding them 3 and 4 times a day, not overfeeding, but they love Daphnia, spirulina. I do crush up some of the tetra color granules like Lucas had been feeding them, and they recognized that right away. They were glad to get that. There's one up front. So they don't look anything like the fish that, you know, I originally got that he had in the tank behind him. However, we know what those fish look like and what the lineage is on these fish and what they will look like soon. So they're very, see, they're They're all over the place, and they love to school. Sometimes they school around and around and around. This is a 40 breeder, and they love to go around and around the top of the tank, and they're a lot of fun to watch. When I was cycling this tank for the bigger fish, I had put in a couple of geophagus, and I've just left them in there. And they don't bother these little guys at all. This is also a Pleco tank, and I've got a couple of gold nugget Plecos in here. One is under the rock there. I don't know if you can see it. It's a bigger one. And I'm about to put another one in here and see if they pair. Sorry, I've got a dog nudging me here, wanting attention, so let's blame some of the sloppy camera work on that. Let's see if we can get a close look. Here we go. This is just my little cell phone, of course. So there's a couple of the little goldie-eyed curs, and they look like little rainbows. I mean, they'll come along quickly enough. Let's see this. He's swimming right in there with those Siamese algae eaters, and then the inflow from that hang on the back filter there. So they're doing great. I'm not sure what I'm missing in the chat. I saw a comment that said, do you recommend a hat? And I doubt that that has anything to do with what I'm talking about, but if so, here we go back around. My unmade bed over there. Oh, a fedora. I'll have to go back and read those comments. It sounds interesting. All right, and there was the obligatory thumb over the screen. I always get that in a couple of times. The sombrero. Hey Cam, I didn't see you come in. I'm looking forward to the live stream tonight. I think you're going to be on there, Brandon and Rick's. So looking forward to that. They always have a great live stream. Or is that tomorrow? I think it's tomorrow this week at 7:30 Eastern time. Yeah, that's what I just corrected myself. So I think it's 7:30 Central time, so it'll be 8:30 Eastern. It's all about that spawning this morning. I actually lost one of my rainbows a couple of days ago, and it was one of the dwarf neon rainbows. It was one of my males. I had two males, and there's the other one that I still have. And I've got 3 or 4 females, but I just found it in the tank dead. I mean, in the morning. I mean, nothing wrong with it at all that I could see. So who knows? That was the only fish I lost. It's the only rainbow I've lost after keeping these guys 4 or 5 months. They're really hardy fish, so I have no idea what happened to it. No idea. No, I'm gonna mess your name up. Delius? No, he was not. He was the same as that other male. I bought him as younger fish from my local fish store. They had not started to really sex out and to get the broad body. So yeah, some of my favorites are those MULLOCHIs. Those are the stripes with the red tail up there, kind of back in there. There's one right in the center. Yeah, actually, when I'd ordered some fish from Dan, several rainbows, I think I bought the last of what he had of a certain type, and he sent me those as a gift, 5 of those guys, and they're really pretty fish, and I actually would like to breed them out too when I get to that point. I do have tanks set up now for my tub fish to sort them into, and that I can put spawning mops in and so forth. A couple of racks of 10 gallons, so I'll get there. Of course, it wants to focus on the algae on the inside of the tank. Okay. Well, get off here, guys. This has been 22 minutes already, and we did get a little bit of footage of the green dragon, so we did document those. Thanks, Cam, for stopping in. Appreciate it. Give a like if you want to, and anybody that hadn't subscribed, if you'd like to, I think I'm about 30 from you too. Thank you. Hey, Trinity, thanks. Anybody that'd like to sub, I'm about 30, I think, away from 200, and I'm wanting to get to 200 this year. Got plenty of time left before the end of the year, so if you'd like to, give me a sub and help me get there. So you guys have a good rest of the day. I'm actually off to Knoxville today to the fish store up there to look at Plecos. So you guys take care. Appreciate you stopping in, and see you next time.